Good day to you all. The old Forces to Canaries flag. West Norfolk Canaries. Tough luck, Lynn. Although, what an experience to get to the FA Cup second round, by the way. Well done, everyone there. A couple more flags from the Norwich supporters, and some of my media colleagues still working up there. That's where I sit and watch the game, for those of you who are wondering. And that is the rest of Carrow Road, where, of course, next time, hopefully, Norwich play here on Saturday week, Sheffield Wednesdays, is it? We'll have 2,000 fans occupying the South Stand, which will be a remarkable experience given what we had to endure over these last few weeks. As for this game, the last, hopefully, behind closed doors game at Carrow Road for a long time, Norwich have come away with a point against Coventry, which in some ways is a shame, because they were leading 1-0 for the most part. Mario Vrancic's penalty after 27 minutes, taken smartly down the middle, beautiful penalty. Norwich were full value their lead, I think, in the first half. Not many chances for either side in the second, before Coventry managed to create, I have to say, a really well-created equaliser in the 90th minute. There were various things Norwich could have done maybe to have stopped it happening, and they were a little bit unfortunate as well with it, but credit to Coventry for that moment and making it happen. And Mark Robbins felt that it was well deserved, and they'd had to make a fair few changes. They're without their first choice goalkeeper and their top scorer up top as well, so they had their own issues today. But they did manage to name 9 substitutes on the bench, and they had their own freshness, I suppose, in the side that Mark Robbins also felt Norwich did. Because this was quite a trying afternoon, as we all know about all the injury situation, of course, and all the players that are out. You could name a decent 11 and one sub, I worked out in my head. Well, it now potentially is 12, because in the process of the equaliser, not only did Max Aarons play the attack on side because he was lying on the floor in agony. He was lying on the floor in agony because he slipped in for a tackle, which was him conceding a free kick, and injured himself in it, and had a bit of treatment, and basically got sort of supported one physio under each arm as he walked around the pitch, which took about 5 minutes to get him back down the tunnel. I assumed, looking at it, it was an ankle injury, and then you're thinking he's not putting any weight on, he's gone over on his ankle or something worse, that would mean ligament damage, and that's going to mean several weeks. Daniel Farke, speaking to us after the game, has said that it's not his ankle and it's a shin, and it's just a big hit. So, if you can't put your weight on your ankle after a really big hit, that can be really heavy bruising, and hopefully it settles down. Could be worse, but obviously it's not ligament damage at that point. So they're probably that in fairness does sound like a promising situation, but we'll have to see, because a lot's obviously got to work itself out there, and to miss Max Aarons as well as everyone else, you're getting into kind of joke territory, because Norwich today could have named 6 substitutes. They could have named 9 substitutes, but they only named 6. Dan Barden, his only senior experience came in the League Cup at Luton at the start of this season. Hasn't played a single minute of league football. The only one of the 6 substitutes that has played any league football, the lights going out, who had played any sort of league football up until, oh wow, all the lights have gone out. Okay, thanks for that. There we go. They'll come back on in a minute, apparently. There we go. Of the 6 substitutes, I was saying Dan Barden's only had only had league experience, had only had cup experience in the League Cup game at Luton. Christoph Zimmermann was the only player with any sort of league experience at all, and then the other 4 were basically players who could play for Norwich under 18s in the FA Youth Cup later next month, in fact, at Molineux. So you're talking about Tyrese Omotoye, Tom Dixon-Peters, and Rhys McAleer, who came on for his debut. In fact, when Max went off, he was coming on anyway, but obviously then I don't know who he was going to come on for instead, but he came on for Max Aarons and slotted in at right back. And then Andrew Omobamidele, who is a highly promising centre back as well. So great moment for them, but you could kind of sense that Daniel Farke didn't really want to make the changes because he's got a very young, inexperienced bench. Christoph eventually came on, as said, Rhys came on, but at one point it was 5-0 in terms of substitutions because Mark Robbins had made a triple change in the second half and then a double change, and that did offer a lot of freshness and new impetus to Coventry. So given Daniel Farke wanted more substitutes and bigger squads, he literally hasn't. He's actually come unstuck pretty much because of it and hasn't had a chance to even take advantage of it. It's not clear whether the situation clears up a little bit going to Luton on Wednesday. Alex Tettey suggested there might be one or two that could come back. I would think that may well be someone like Lucas Rupp, who was a surprise omission today. But obviously he's probably not too far away. I think that Teemu Pukki's hamstring injury isn't a really bad one, and he could be an outside bet maybe for Wednesday. We'll have to see. And obviously Emi Buendia is back, having only just sort of served a one-match suspension for his 2 yellows at Stoke. So a little bit there, but I've never known anything like it at the moment. And of course it's a direct. I know people want to sort of wonder what's going on, whether the intensity of training, this, that and the other. I think you do generally have to look at it as just a sheer weight of football that's being played in a ridiculously short space of time, and with Norwich having to do that off the back of the Premier League campaign and then relegation. So I don't know if that makes their schedule a little bit greater than some of the teams that have just done it in the Championship. For example, Coventry didn't play a game after March, did they? They had all that time off because they got promoted without a game being played, and they didn't have the playoffs to worry about. So although that's a big gap and a lot of lack of football, it was at least a fair amount of rest, rather than Norwich, who were playing twice a week at the start of the Premier League restart, really. So very different situations for both teams. Norwich, I thought actually they played really well today given those circumstances. They played without a striker effectively. Steeperman playing the false 9, but they looked like they were playing without a striker. I think Marco got played through once and Ben Wilson made a good save. I thought Grant Hanley was superb in terms of everything he won in the air. Ollie Skip, really nice dynamic between him and Alex Tettey in this sort of game where you're just like, you're a bit worried about the lack of I suppose experience and physicality on the pitch, but I thought that worked quite well, and Ollie is playing. He's so secure in what he's doing, it's great. And everyone else played well given the circumstances too, and then if I can mixed it around, I'm not sure the bringing on of Christoph Zimmermann is shoring Norwich up at the moment. They seem to concede a goal when he comes on the pitch. And they protected Michael McGovern really well. He did have one spill in the first half, which I don't think does anyone any favours in terms of confidence in the back line. But generally his kicking was pretty good actually, and his distribution was good, and Norwich didn't change up too much of what they were doing. It was probably just a little bit more conscious of what they were doing. And in that instance, I think there's a bit of credit there to be done. Just to add, by the way, that is Max Aarons on crutches walking across the pitch. So he's got a protective boot on his left foot, and looks like he's struggling a bit. So if that's a man who's going to be playing football again on Wednesday, I'd be quite surprised. But stranger things have happened. I think there were some really good performances in there. I think Norwich were fortunate with the penalty they got, because I thought Ben Wilson, although he came out and clubbered into Przemysław Płacheta, who I thought was good today, by the way, he did win the ball first. So for me, that probably wasn't a penalty, to be honest. But there was a tackle on Mario Vrancic before that probably was a penalty, and I haven't had a chance to see it back again. But these things probably even themselves out. And that was it, really. Norwich didn't create a lot in the second half at all, but they did have a couple of really good chances in the first half, and Ben Wilson did okay, but there was one double save where Norwich probably should have taken advantage more. But there we go. We go to Luton on Wednesday. Norwich are still top of the league, or top of the Championship. They've got Bournemouth behind them and Watford behind them. Says a lot, doesn't it, about the situation at the moment. But I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time and watching. As always, get your comments and questions in. I always love reading them. And I will see you at Kenilworth Road on Wednesday, and we'll see which Norwich players are fit as well. In the meantime, check in at The Athletic over the course of the week. I've got a piece that I've put together that I'm really excited about. I think that's going live early next week, so keep an eye on my Twitter feed for that. That's a good one. Anyway, I'm done. See you later, and take care of yourselves. Enjoy your weekend, and on to Luton.